You know what time it is. It's 9 a.m. It's Friday. It's time to rise. It's time to rise with purpose, people. It's time to rise and grind. It's time to rise and make a change. It's time. It's time. It's time to witness our growth. Good morning, guys. I hope you're doing good this morning. I hope you're doing good. I'm in a super good mood this morning. Had a good workout. Sabrina had a good workout. Everything went really well. I'm pretty happy with the way the day started out today. Definitely not much aggression in my whole mindset or mind frame. Sabrina's getting finished up now, getting ready for work, so that when she's done with work, that we can head out from here afterwards. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was taking the ability to push yourself, but in a positive way. You know, a lot of us, in order to push ourselves, have to take ourselves to a negative place. You know, I do too sometimes. I have to push myself to a negative place in order to get the momentum to keep going. And sometimes that place is anger, and sometimes that place is happiness. But a lot of times it's anger, and a lot of times that anger isn't good for me. You know, a lot of times that I handle things in the wrong way, it only compounds the pain that I'm going through because I'm not actually taking the time to acknowledge where I am and where I want to be. You know, I'm just kind of going through the motions, and it makes me feel like I'm making progress because I'm moving, but I'm not actually making progress towards my goal. I'm just kind of moving. It's like a treadmill. You know, you're doing all the actions, but you're not really getting any of the progress made, if that makes sense. So today I want to ask you this question. What's your outcome? What's your result that you're going for? And what's that first action you can do today? What's one action you can take today as soon as you get the show, and just take one action to make that a little bit more clear, a little bit, just take one small step, the first step, and towards that goal. That's what I want you to do today. That's my goal for you today, is that you take that one step. It doesn't have to be a giant step. Just take that one step and feel the fulfillment you'll get from making progress. You know, it's not always about trying to make giant leaps and bounds at one step or trying to grow a ton at one time. You know, sometimes it's just about growing a little bit more so that you can be better than the person you were yesterday. You know, sometimes it's about being happy with yourself and not always being angry at yourself. You know, sometimes you need to just say thank you. Thank you for the struggle. Thank you for the pain. Thank you for the problems, because those problems and those struggles make me a stronger person. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there right now that they act like they shouldn't have any problems. They act like, you know, why me? You know, number one question you get from people like that, why me? Because that is a lesson. The problem that's in your life right now is a lesson that you're supposed to learn. The problem in your life right now that you're avoiding is the key to you becoming the person that you want to be. If you want to grow to the next level, if you want to progress on your journey, you have to face your problems. Your problems are a direct result of what you're not learning. There is a lesson here that you are not learning, and you are stuck to repeat that lesson until you learn it. And that's creating pain within you. That's creating frustration in you because you're not learning what you should be learning. You're not paying attention to the things and giving the focus to the things that should be focused. You're giving it to the things what you can't control. Why you're not there. It's easy for you to get caught up in the rat race of saying where you should be, but that's the reason. That's what keeps you down. You know, if you start with an impossible task, progress isn't really going to happen, is it? But if you start with a task that you love and you believe in, you know, if you take one step a day, eventually you're going to go back and you're going to realize, hey, I'm there. But it's not going to have to be to the point where you have to, you know, make a difference. You know, if you're going to make a difference in your life, you have to get to that point. You have to get to the point where something I should do becomes something I must do. It's something that I want to happen versus something that I need to happen. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. I really do. I hope that that makes sense and it's setting in this morning, because I believe in you. I love you and I want you to do good. But sometimes the problem is the progress. Sometimes the thing that you're dodging is the thing that you need to give attention to. I hope that makes sense. I know it's Friday and you're getting close to the weekend and you guys are super excited for it. But if you're working on yourself, you don't clock out on the weekends. If you're working on yourself and on your dream, you never really clock out. So you may be done with your work week for their dream on Friday, but now your work week starts. Now you got 2 days to figure out what you can do to start making your dreams happen. You know, when you clock out of work, you clock into your work. You're never off now. Now you're paying the bills and you're building your legacy. You're building your dream. But if you want that legacy, if you want that dream, you have to fight for it. You have to go out and put the work in for it. It's not about just achieving everything that you want to achieve without putting in the work, because if you get there without putting in the work, you won't have anything. You won't understand what it is that you're sacrificing in order to get something. You know, right now, I want you to think about this. There's something in your life that you give a lot of attention to and a lot of time to. But what I really want to know is, does that serve you? Does it serve you? Does it make you a better person to become and to put that work into it? Or are you exhausting yourself trying to attain something that doesn't serve you? Something to think about this morning. It's Friday. Like I said, a lot of people like to look at this like, okay, yeah, I'm off and it's time for the weekend. No, you should be clocking into your job. You should be clocking into your dream. Just because you're clocking out of your day job doesn't mean that you don't have time, and you shouldn't put time into your real job, to your dream, to your passion. You know, I want to challenge you to go out and find one step, people, one step that will allow you to take that next step and create momentum so you can continue to progress. One step. Even maybe you want to learn something. Maybe you want to learn something about a new field. Go out, type it in, look up free seminars, get in a class, take some notes, and do the work. You know, maybe you want to grow as an individual on personal growth. Well, if you're in my challenge, we do that daily. You know, what's your number? 1 to 10. Where's your energy level at? 1 to 10. If you're under a 5, focus on that. Get yourself to an 8 and then go about your day. But don't get up at a 3 and think that walking around and a 3 is going to get anything done. Nothing's going to get done. Nobody's going to want to work with you. Nobody's going to want to be a part of your energy if you don't have the energy yourself. If you're not putting it out into the world, they're not going to want to come get it from you. Does that make sense? So be in a good state and you can do anything. You know, if your energy is at a 3 and you come up to a roadblock, you're going to stop. You're going to stop and you're going to wish that roadblock wasn't there. But if your energy is in, you're not even going to see the roadblock. You're just going to see something that you have to go around. And it doesn't matter if it's in the road, you'll go off road. You'll do whatever you got to do in order to go around it, because it's not going to stop your progress, because you're at a 10 and nothing is going to stand in your way. You'll figure it out when your energy is at a 10. When your energy is at a 3, you're just waiting for an excuse to give up. So think about that. Scale yourself 1 to 10. If you're under a 5, put in work. If you're under 5, get ready to do the work that needs to be done in order to get yourself to a 10 to make the rest of your day 10 times more productive. Start in the right energy. Start at the right level. Start in the right place. If you don't want to do it and you don't get yourself to the point where you want to do it, it's just going to be a struggle. And you're worth more than that. You deserve to be happy, not to struggle. And we're going to change that slowly, day by day, learning tools, techniques, and practices on how to be a happy person. But you've got to define the happy to know what target you're hitting for. You know what I mean? I hope so. I hear some footsteps out here. So, are you ready? Facebook, YouTube, are you ready for the 2 in attendance and the millions watching around the world? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please give a hand for the one, the only, the Zumba Queen, Sabrina!
Hey guys.
All right, so what I was basically talking about this morning was just that, a lot of people focus on their problems and not how to become a part of the solution.
Okay.
So you want to give your takeaway on that for a second?
Yeah, I do it.
We all do it. I'll be right back.
We all do it. I like how you just lost me, but no, we all do it. I do it all the time. A prime example was my classes. I was the one that, if you would have met me when I was a teenager, I was the one that was in the back corner all by myself. I can remember one of the first things that Jimmy told me was that I looked like Baby in the Corner. Like, nobody puts Baby in the Corner, Dirty Dancing, if anybody's a fan of that. Because one of the first times that I actually got to talk to him, and me and Jimmy actually hung out, I guess you could say, as friends. I was at a bar with a bunch of other friends, but I was always the one to seclude myself because I never wanted to be in the middle and want the attention and be in the drama and everything like that. I was always the one on the sidelines. So for me to come out of being in that state and being that type of person where I was so confined in myself and so insecure and didn't realize what I could do for myself, like just by talking to people. He came over, it was funny, he came over in that moment and started talking to me, and years later we talk about it still, about how I was just so in myself. But I also, when I saw the passion that this instructor that inspired me to be an instructor had, it was so funny. It was like a flash of light, because all of that shyness, all of that, I'm self-doubting and I'm insecure and I'm not in the best shape and everything like that, that didn't matter at all. Like, it didn't, because I was like, you know what? We're working out, right? There's bigger people. Like, bigger people could be an instructor, right? And I wasn't heavy. Like, I was just heavy myself. And what I saw in the mirror, I see you sneaking up on me. And what I saw in the mirror, so having to push myself to not be shy, to get in front of people, to instruct. Let me tell you, when I first started, I thought I was going to maybe have a dozen people in my classes. I can distinctly remember Jimmy sitting at the front door of my classes, escorting people, like opening the door to escort people into the class and counting heads. And at one point, I'll never forget this, at Body Renew, we had almost 65 people in one class. This is just a gym class.
Your record was 81.
Okay, well, I don't remember that.
Our record was 81 people in one class.
And I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, not all of them stayed because it was a small room. They got in there and they were like, whoa. But just the fact that many people at that one particular gym in that town decided to come to my class that day, you would have never told me that girl sitting in that booth at that bar that was so insecure about herself that she was going to do that way. I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it at all. So you definitely need to look outside of the box. That's for sure. That's what I kind of take from it, is that you can be the caterpillar and just not realize that you haven't blossomed into the butterfly yet. So, and I use that theory now with a lot of things that I'm going through now personally in this time, and that I plan on using that tool. It's almost like a tool, using that later on in life too. And I do it with people. I have some stuff going on at home. We lost one of our family members. I would say a family member. I've had a lab. He's a black lab. I've had him for years. He grew up with my little sister. He passed away last night, unfortunately. And in that moment, when my sister called me last night, and I was in bed, we were in bed when she called me to let me know that he had passed. But when she called me, my first instinct, if you would have taken me back once again, put me in that state where I was the girl in the booth, my sister would have called me, I would have instantly broke down in that moment and would have made it so much worse on her and my mother. And they were in West Virginia. They are hours away. It's not like you can just drive down the street and make it right. So, and in that one moment, I could have been the old Sabrina, where I would have freaked out, been hysterical, crying, would have felt so sorry for not being there and not spending more time with him. But in that moment, there was just something that came over me that was like, he was at peace. He actually, mom saw that he was having some trouble, and then you could just tell that he wasn't feeling well, so he laid down. And unfortunately, we've gone through this with multiple animals, larger dogs especially, and he was a larger lab. He laid down on the floor, and mom knew what was coming, so she called my sister, and they were able to be there with him in that moment. Like, that wasn't something I've had to put my first dog. I had to put that dog down. I had to actually euthanize that dog because he had so much heart and it was in such rough shape that he just wouldn't go. So in that moment, as soon as she told me that, I was, instead of being so upset and so hurt by me losing a dog and not being there and not being able to be with my mom and my sister. And then my dad was at work too. So he, you know, worrying about all that family and everything like that, it really struck me really hard and kind of opened some things up in that moment too, that I didn't need to be sad. I didn't need to be upset, and I didn't need to be hysterical, but that he was at peace. That if and my sister, unfortunately, has a sick cat too. So when she called me to tell me about her sick cat that she's had literally since she was 5, my sister's 25. That's a 20-year-old cat. It's a lot of history. We had lost her at times. Like, she got away and was staying underneath our neighbor's porch, and we found her. She got out a second time, came back, guess what, had 2 kittens. So we know what she was doing that time. So, I mean, this cat has lived a full life. But when my sister called me to let me know that she was just ill and that she was getting sick, not that she had passed like Cole, but in that moment, and she was so hysterical and she was so upset and she was crying, I was once again able to be that firm ground for her, to be able to tell her, okay, Deanna, tell me this. If you could picture the way that you would want Teeny to cross the rainbow bridge, how would you want it to be? She described it to me, and it was just for her to be with her and to be able to be there those last moments and let her know that she wasn't alone, and that my sister loved her and she appreciated those 20 years that she'd given her. It was so funny because my sister did that. She started, and I was like, Deanna, you've got time still. She has 2 kittens. You've got those 2 kittens that you need to think about too. You need to be there for those kittens, just like people, like their family members, you know? So she, you know, started taking care of her, and now Teeny's actually doing a little bit better now. So she's not out of the woods, but she's doing better. So my sister's actually been able to, because of me doing that moment with her that first time, it was able to carry over her into her last night. And like I said, it was just this overflowing feeling of, oh my God, we could be hysterical right now, and we could hit those triggers like we did when we were younger. But we've learned from this that this is a part of life and this happens, and that, you know, we can grow from it. Like, you can grow from it. I feel like once you lose something in life like that, something close to you, that something bigger is about to happen. You know, that it's almost like, not necessarily like you're giving up one thing to get another, but you're evolving and things are changing and everything happens for a reason. So, I mean, I could have looked once again, last night, I could have looked at that perspective of, oh my God, like this is heart wrenching. This is going to crush me, but it wasn't, because if I would have wanted it to go anyway in the position that I am now, that's exactly how I would have wanted it to be, for him to be at peace, for him to be with my mom and my sister, who he was closer to too. And, you know, for him to be able to be with his family and not have to go to a vet and have to make that decision, that he just naturally was like, it's time. And, you know,
I'm ready.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just the way that you look at it. It's just the way that you look at things. And I feel like sometimes we just doubt ourselves and we put ourselves down so much that we don't see that we can actually do it. Like, you beat yourself up so bad. You beat yourself up so bad. You're the first person to give up on yourself. You're the first person to tell yourself that. I told Jimmy the other day that I want to get a Jiminy Cricket tattoo, because I can remember as a kid, Jiminy Cricket is your conscience. It's that voice in your head that's telling you all those good things, and it tells you all those bad things too. And that I want a tattoo of it, so every time that I see it, then I remember that I have that choice. The conscience is your choice. The conscience, it tells you both sides of things, but the conscience is also trying to guide you into it too. So you have to listen to them. So, which we need to make appointments to do that, because I really want that. But that's how I feel.
So, What do you guys think? I think she made some really good points there.
Pull my phone up for you so you can see the comments.
Okay. So what I want you guys to understand is that, especially when she was going through that, I've come to realize something about life that I want to share with you guys this morning. Life is about seasons. It's not one continual, gradual state. Life is about
Rachel Hollis.
life is about seasons. Life is about understanding that, you may be in winter right now. You may be in winter right now. It may be cold. It may be lonely. You may feel alone. But spring is coming. So take the time in winter to dig into yourself, to develop your skills, and to become the person that you want to be, so that when spring arrives, you're ready. It's always about seasons. This too shall pass. And if something's held on too long, you're holding on to it. The season's trying to progress. You're the one not progressing. Let the season change. I know that when you're in spring, it's really easy to forget about winter. I know that when you're in summer, it's so easy to forget about the struggle of winter. But I promise you, with every summer you have, winter will come. After what happens after every fall? It gets cold. Winter sets in. There's a reason for that. When you fall down, you have to have a period of rebuilding. You have to have a period of you becoming the person that you were meant to be. But if you get stuck in a season, if you get stuck in winter and you never allow yourself to leave winter, you're going to die in winter. Winter will consume you. Let the seasons change. Let the moments pass. Don't hold on to them and hold them inside you and try and control them. It's not something for you to control. What you have to understand is that for you to truly to begin to make a difference in your life, you have to understand that everything is temporary. This too shall pass. If you're coming into summer, if you're in summer right now, know, yes, eventually fall will come. Eventually you will fall. In the summer, if you're in summer right now, no. But you have to know that. You have to know that. And then after the fall, when you're hardest on yourself, after the mistake, when you're hardest on yourself and you feel alone and it's a cold world because you're creating that's winter. And it may be one of the worst winters you've ever gone through. Yep. It may be super cold. It may be high snows. It may be bad weather. You may be locked in the house. I mean, come on, quarantine, winter. But this too shall pass. And when it passes, when it's spring, what did you learn for winter? What did you take away from winter? Did you stock up food? Did you use all the food? Did you run out of food? Did you prepare well enough? Did you not prepare? How can you get better before the next winter comes? The fall is also the harvest. All of the work that you put in the spring, all of the work you put in the summer, you don't get it in the spring and summer, do you? You don't get that gratification of, oh man, I worked in the spring and I got stuff in the spring. I worked in the summer and I got stuff in the summer. No, you have to work through 2 seasons before you reap the harvest of your work. But we also call that the fall. Why? Because once you harvest your crop, once you've reached your goal, winter comes next. There's a moment after every great achievement where you don't know where you're going next. You worked so hard to get here and you got it, but now you don't know what to do with it. You never thought about that part. It was just about you getting it. So you got to the harvest, but then comes the fall, and then comes winter. But the point of winter is that winter has to come. Winter has to happen. You're not going to be ready for the next year if you never go through winter. There are lessons for you to learn in every season. So if you're in winter right now, learn the lesson so you can move to spring. Don't continue to sit there and think that you need to struggle and that struggle is a part of you. No, you're in winter and you're not moving on. Yeah. You're stuck in winter. You're stuck in the cold. You're stuck being alone, and you're stuck to the significance that it gives you to say that I'm in winter and I survived it and the attention and love that it gets you. But that's not the point. You have to move on. You have to go to spring. You have to rebuild yourself. You have to redig your roots. You have to put in the work in spring in order to get to fall, the harvest. Yep. But once again, I'm going to remind you that you cannot get to harvest in the fall without putting the work in the spring and the summer. That's where most of us get let off track. We think, oh man, I worked in the spring. I hustled in the spring. I fucking worked my ass off in the spring. I should have a good summer. I should have the best summer ever. I hustled in the spring. But the harvest doesn't come until fall. Most of us give up in summer and we never get to our own harvest. Because you're so focused on spring, your past, what happened in the past, and the fall, what's in the future. But you can't seem to link those two together in the moment now. So you're literally walking away from your own harvest because you don't have the patience to wait till fall.
That's deep.
And how many people harvest and don't understand that being in winter is what gives you spring? The death, the cold, the change, that's what creates spring. You can never start to grow if you never went through the hard parts. You can never begin to bloom again if you never let the past go. If you don't okay, let me give you another example. Maybe this year you didn't put in enough work in the spring and summer, and maybe it was a bad harvest. Maybe it was the worst harvest of your life. Are you going to stay in that harvest? Are you going to shut down the farm? Or are you going to go through a winter, but this winter is going to be different than every other winter because you can't have another harvest like that again. Yeah. So you got to start getting ready to put in the work for spring, and you're going to hit spring as hard as you can so that when you get to harvest is everything you want it to be. But how do you start your harvest? You plant seeds. Your entire harvest starts in spring, and it starts as a seed, as a thought, as a moment. And you water it, you nurture it, you work on it, and you develop it. And then suddenly, at the end of summer, it starts to show you that you did enough. And then the harvest comes. And in the harvest, you're allowed to enjoy the work. But it doesn't last forever, does it? Winter's coming. So you've got to also prepare for winter. And then eventually you'll start seeing that winter is just a preparation for spring. You won't keep focusing on the winter. You'll start focusing on the spring. You see where I'm going with this? Are you picking this up? You have to go through each session. You have to go through each season. You have to. It's part of the process. You're never going to get to harvest if you don't go through the winter. And if you don't go through the winter and prepare to plant your seeds at spring, you've already lost.
Yep.
So find out what season you're in and get ready for the next one.
That's a really good way to put it.
Seasons, people.
Yeah.
Seasons.
That's a really good way. Rachel Hollis, she uses that term, but not necessarily.
The record, Rachel Hollis stole that shit from Tony Robbins.
Rachel Hollis is a very, very big follower of Tony Robbins.
Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense. That's one of the reasons why she's such an inspiration. Tony's his inspiration. She's kind of mine. So, but no, she talks about that in some of her stuff where, you know, people are going through seasons. So like, you know, kids are graduating college and they're getting ready to go into like the real world, or even high school too, depending if you go to college or not, but going into the real world to getting into, you know, a marriage and that being a big step to starting family, having babies, or starting your own business, that you need to give yourself time to grow too. Like you need to give yourself time. Don't push yourself, obviously. That's what we're here to do, to motivate you to do that. But you need to also understand here too, that it's not going to happen like that. I get into that mindset all the time that I want it right now. Like I make a decision. I'm a person that I already plan as it is. And then when I make the decision, when I finally make the decision, look, listen to me, all the stuff Julian taught me. But I'm set in it at that point. Then I want it right then. And I don't want it, I want it to come right then. I'm not waiting for it to take its time. I need it right then. Like, and it's hard to do. But now with, you know, the program and the challenge and stuff like that, I'm trying to teach myself that I need to step back and appreciate it, because I'm a person that likes to plan. You would think that I would enjoy the ride, right? Look at it that way. I like to plan everything and I want to know the outcome. And then as soon as I just make that outcome, I want it right then and there. But I also like the little things. I like the little moments and the, you know, the things that really will stick out to me through that journey, like me journaling or me doing the workouts with Jimmy or me connecting with friends through my classes and stuff like that and motivating them, like those little things. If I would have hit my goal immediately, I wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't make me feel the way that I do. I wouldn't appreciate it. And I wouldn't be as grateful for it too. So when you're in that winter state, realize it's going to get better and you can make it better. You got to slowly climb out of the snow. That's why we moved south, because we don't like snow. But once you climb out of the 6 feet of snow that you're in, guess what? It's warm. It's nice. The sun shines. You'll get there. You'll get there. And that's what we're here to do, is to tell you not only will you get there, but we're there to be with you too. So reach out. Don't feel ashamed. Don't be shy. Don't be Sabrina and baby in the corner. Like, don't do that. Get up and do it. And even if it's little things, like you'll be surprised. I mean, today's day 5 challenge. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
We fucking did it. We did 5 days. This is the first 5 days. Wait till it's the 5th week or the 25th week, right? How many weeks is it?
Oh, Jesus
12.
God. 25th week.
Well, then by 25, you're completely set and you're ready to go. You're ready to do another challenge at that point because you love this one so much. But think of it that way. I'm writing everything down in my journals too. If it's not my personal journal, I'm putting it in my workbook journal that Jimmy asked us to do, and just so I can look back on it. So Jimmy made a really good point the other day. He was showing me, and this is just, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but the other day he showed me his video from his first one that he did, his first workout he did, where he was struggling to push. And then a few weeks later, where he was just banging them out, like boom, 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 doing those push-ups, doing the curls and stuff like that and everything. He's starting to see it in his body and stuff like that. And that should show you, like, once you get there, you can look back on it. You can remember all those days and every little thing that happened to make it what it was and things like that. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for the struggle. You're going to be able to talk and tell people your story because of it. Because that's really what you're doing, is creating your story. You can either be good or bad. And no offense, everybody likes a happy ending. I know nobody likes a bad ending. Nobody wants to see the sequel. Nobody wants, the first one's always the best. So make the best of it, right?
Just dropping some knowledge on you too this morning. But what I want you to remember is right now, you know, I do the same thing with the working out. Right now, I want it to be harvest time. You know, I want to be like, look at this 6-pack. Look at this going, you know, and fucking fit and all that. I want it to be harvest time, but I'm still in spring. Yep. I'm still in spring. It's 5 days in. I'm still planting seeds, people. But don't think that I'm not looking at my body and being like, man, why am I not at harvest yet? Like,
I'm over here like, you can't see these lines. Like, you need somebody there. You need somebody to be able to see it too. Like, not only do this progress for yourself, but then it's going to inspire other people. Because as soon as I started to see you had abs, I was like, hell, I ain't got them. I want them. And I jumped right in it. Yeah. That's how you get your friends. That's how you get your family involved. Like, I don't like getting up every Monday and Friday. I love it. But listen, I don't like doing it every Monday and Friday. Getting up and teaching these classes. I don't make money off of this shit. Like I'm not doing anything. But this is what I eventually want to do. So I do it now. So when I'm big and rich and famous, no, I don't want any of that. But I'm just saying, when I hit that big goal and I'm looking down on where I came from at everything, I can remember that. I can remember it.
So when she hits that mountain peak and she turns around to see the road that brought her there, she's going to be grateful for it. Because when she gets to harvest, she's going to be grateful for the summer and the spring. Now, when she's in the summer and spring, is she going to be grateful? Is she going to be happy that it's not happening? Is she going to be happy that she's put in the work and she's not seeing the results? No. But that's why we get harvest. That's why we get fall. And then once you get to harvest, once you get that goal, winter comes. And winter is to give you time to prepare for your next journey. And so you don't jump right into it. It's so that you have the time to prepare for your next journey, your next mountaintop. Make sense? All right, we dropped some deep shit on y'all this morning. I hope that it was a good one. That's why I like having her on here.
That's why you should get up in the mornings. Like, I didn't really like the ideas of getting up early, but it definitely does help you. It gets you up, it gets you awake. I don't want to go to work, but I can't wait for the food truck to open, obviously. But I want to go to work. I just want to go work in my business, not their business. Yeah. Anyway, Columbia in the house.
In the house. I should wear my shirt. We wouldn't match.
Oh, your blue shirt? Mm-hmm. You look really good in the blue shirt. I could do more of them.
But my point is find out what season you're in. If you're in the challenge, welcome to spring.
Welcome to spring.
Plant your seeds.
I don't know when.
Know that it's going to be a long summer. It's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be a hard summer. But we're going to get through it because when we get to harvest, we're going to be the people we always wanted to be.
We're going to have the beach bodies.
Yes. You may not have a six-pack. I'm not saying you'll have a six-pack. What I'm saying is you'll be happy with your progress. And that progress will carry momentum, and that momentum will carry you to your goal. It may not be a 1-year trip. And I know that sucks for some of you. But it may not be a 1-year trip. You may get to the end of this and have a winner, but know that winner is preparing you for next year's journey. Yep. You're going to spring. It's guaranteed. I guarantee it. You're going to spring. You're going to spring. And when you do, use winter to get ready for it. All right? I love you. Yes, you. You right there. No.
Me? No.
You. Not her. You. I love you. I care about you. I want you to be happy. And whatever I got to do to get you there, I'm going to do it. So remember your seasons. Remember your goals. Remember the outcomes. But remember, if you want to get to harvest, you got to plant your seeds in spring. And you've got to be patient enough to make it through summer. And prepare for the winter, people.
Because it's coming either way.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all have seen Game of Thrones.
Winter is coming. All right. I love you. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Stay tuned.
Pay attention.
You got to point over here. Right there. Right here. Now, see where my finger is? Right there. And witness our growth.
Your growth.
Because we grow together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Plant them seeds.
Yeah, plant them seeds. Plant the good seeds. Don't plant the bad seeds. Plant the good seeds.
Bye, guys. See you later.
All right. I'm going to take this one out. You know what? I really like the dab, so I'm going to end it on the dab. Check it out. Oh, hold on now. Hold on. Bam.